In the early days of the 19th century, Michigan became a magnet for profiteers and boomtowns. So for this episode, we're discussing one town's rise and fall that rivaled a Greek myth. Stay tuned as we resurrect the town of Singapore, Michigan in this Michigan Moment. Founded in 1836 at the mouth of the Kalamazoo River, Singapore, Michigan was the dream of New York land speculator O'Shea Wilder. Wilder envisioned Singapore as a lake trading hub to rival Chicago. While it remained a far cry from its Malaysian namesake, the town of Singapore boasted 3 mills, 2 hotels, and several general stores. In total, the town consisted of 23 buildings. Of these buildings, the town's bank marked the beginning of the town's infamous reputation. Founded in 1838, the Bank of Singapore was one of 2 so-called wildcat banks in Allegan County. Before the establishment of the national banking system, these wildcat banks sprang up along the new settlements of the rapidly growing United States. These banks printed and issued their own currency, many without any collateral behind them. At its height, the Bank of Singapore had over $50,000 in Singapore notes in circulation. Shortly after the Civil War, the federal government closed the bank after it couldn't produce the gold to support the notes. But the tragedies of Singapore wouldn't end with the bank. During the winter of 1842, the town was hit by a devastating blizzard. For 40 days, the town was pelted by the snow blown by the icy gales of Lake Michigan. This storm would have proven the end of Singapore had it not been for the shipwreck of the Milwaukee. With the wreck, the Milwaukee's cargo of flour washed ashore, feeding the people of Singapore until the blizzard's end. The years following the blizzard proved prosperous for Singapore. After Wilder abandoned the township, James Carter of New York acquired Wilder's share in the town. He later sold his shares to his brother, Artemus. Together with his business partner, Francis B. Stockbridge, Artemus Carter built the Octavia, the first 3-masted schooner to sail Lake Michigan. The Octavia became key to the town's lumber trade with Chicago. With this, the small port town's population grew significantly. While in the wake of this prosperity, the rest of the Great Lakes region was humbled. With the Great Fire of Chicago, along with substantial fires in Holland, Peshtigo, and Manistee, Singapore became a major provider of lumber for the city's reconstruction, and was now shipping more lumber to Chicago than ever before. However, the fortunate position Singapore found itself in would ultimately lead to a calamity greater than any of the town had faced before. Like many boom towns, Singapore was not immune to the side effects from extreme deforestation. The clear cutting for the surrounding old-growth forest exposed the town to the nearby sand dunes. With strong winds off Lake Michigan, sand pelted the town, eroding it into a ruin. Within 4 years, the town was completely engulfed by the dune. While most deserted the town, stories persist of the fabled last resident of Singapore. This lone man refused to leave his home after the disaster. Even with his home half buried, he entered his home through a second-story window that was now adjacent with the top of the dune. The town was vacant by 1875. Like its fabled last resident, the story of Singapore persists, not just in the name of Saugatuk's Singapore Yacht Club, but as a cautionary tale. In his first National Day rally speech, Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, a graduate of the University of Michigan, referenced the rise and fall of the town. So while its mills and banks lay buried in ruins, the spirit of Singapore, Michigan continues to slip out of the sand to warn the world of its folly. Thank you for watching this episode. If you'd like to learn more about Michigan, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time on Michigan Moment.